Subordinating conjunctions. In order to understand what a subordinating conjunction is, let's learn what a subordinate clause is. A subordinate clause is an extra piece of information which adds interesting detail to the main clause in a sentence. It does not make sense on its own and must always be linked to a main clause. In this sentence, you can see the subordinate clause in blue and the main clause in black. Looking at Catherine's red and inflamed wound, Ilva felt a cold tingle travel down her spine. Now let's move on to learning about subordinating conjunctions. A subordinating conjunction is a word or a phrase which joins a subordinate clause to a main clause. It's a conjunction, a linking word. Now let's add a subordinating conjunction to the sentence we've just looked at. Whilst looking at Catherine's red and inflamed wound, Ilva felt a cold tingle travel down her spine. You can see the subordinating conjunction in pink, the subordinate clause in blue, and the main clause in black. Now I'm going to play around with the order of this sentence. As I do, have a look what happens to the comma. Ilva felt a cold tingle travel down her spine whilst looking at Catherine's red and inflamed wound. Now my main clause comes first, followed by the subordinating conjunction and the subordinate clause. Can you see what has happened to the comma? That's right, when your main clause comes first, you don't need a comma as your subordinating conjunction links the main clause directly with the subordinate clause. Here are some subordinating conjunctions you could use in your writing. After, although, as, because, before, how, once, since, that, where, whether, while, unless, though, if. Now let's have a look at some subordinating conjunctions in action. Ilva refused to leave Catherine's side because of her loyalty. Although Ilva suggested making a sled to pull her along, Catherine was fading fast. Whether Ilva desperately wanted to keep her alive or not, Catherine was dying. Have a look at the sentences below. What do you notice about the punctuation? Because the three-fingered man was somewhere in the woods, Ilva was reluctant to light the fire. Ilva was reluctant to light the fire because the three-fingered man was somewhere in the woods. That's right. You remembered that when you have a subordinating conjunction and a subordinate clause at the beginning of a sentence, you need a comma to separate them from the main clause. However, when the main clause comes first, followed by the subordinating conjunction and the subordinate clause, you don't need a comma.